The supplement industry in the United States is not required to do any safety testing. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. And this is one of these topics that, when you bring it up, people are oftentimes unaware of that. They actually seem to think that, over-the-counter supplements are really heavily regulated and there's quality controls in place. And the simple reality is there isn't. And that happened in the 90s, the early mid-90s with the Supplement Control Act. All those companies that were making all these products lobbied the federal government and got this act more or less put into place, giving them permission to essentially make products that don't work, that don't have safety testing. But here's kind of the agreement the FDA has more or less had with these companies. They can't really make stuff that works. So in other words, if they don't make direct claims, they're very careful in the way they word their claims for the false advertising, okay? And their products largely don't do much of anything, they get left alone, okay? In other words, they cannot be competition for prescription drugs. They cannot be competition for the pharmaceutical industry, which is big money, right? They can't be competition for them. In other words, they cannot actually make products that do things that prescription drugs do, like burning fat, building muscle, okay? All these things. Like if a supplement is capable of putting a pound of muscle on you in a year, they're going to shut them down, okay? If a supplement is actually capable of speeding up fat loss like 3, 4, 5, 10%, they will shut them down. They'll shut them down hard, baby, like Negan. Okay? Those companies understand this. They also understand they just have to be careful in the wording. They have to be very careful in the wording. And as long as they follow those rules, not directly false advertising, they imply things, but they don't explicitly state it. And they say things like, in addition to diet and exercise, it will help facilitate. Okay? See where we're going? Sure, but the diet and the exercise are really what's doing it. And as long as it's worded in the right way, and with these statements have not been endorsed or supported by the FDA, they basically just make fake junk that doesn't work. Okay. Now, if they make stuff that actually works, they got a problem. Because if it actually works, it's going to be dangerous and have side effects. So again, be aware, all these anabolic substances, all these fat-burning substances, all this prescription stuff have side effects because they work. Like if something actually can speed up muscle protein synthesis, like really, or metabolic rate or thyroid function, all these things you need for fat burning, right? They're going to have side effects. They're going to have side effects. Then they're going to need safety testing. But they know that their stuff doesn't work. That's the agreement they have. And accordingly, the FDA does not require safety testing. They also don't require major quality controls. This is left then to individual things like Consumer Reports. Okay, Consumer Reports has gone pretty hard on supplement companies, even protein powders, checking for are they actually labeled correctly? Are there safe levels of lead or arsenic in them, or do they exceed the safe limits, right? And you're going to find over 50% of supplement companies when, like Consumer Reports has over the past 15, 20 years, jumped in and started testing their stuff. And over half of them, they don't actually have the proper labels. They don't even have always safe levels, like unsafe levels of lead, arsenic. Heavy metals have been found in a lot of their just regular normal products that you're buying right there at Walmart or the GNC or whatever. Okay? But it's up to then Consumer Reports and independent reviewers to do that, and it's up to you as the consumer to look into that because they don't do safety testing. They're not required to. Okay? And here's the general rule the FDA has given them. Since their products, they more or less have an understanding with them to not make products that really do much, they're probably largely safe, so they don't require them to test anything because it's mostly just rice flour and cellulose and stuff anyways, maybe some vitamins, so they don't have to safety test. So the rule they have, they can't sell a product that they know for a fact is dangerous. Okay, They're not required to test any of it. So when they come out with a new product, say it's going to do this, they're not required to have any safety testing. Not like drugs are before they're passed by the FDA. They go through no screening because they couldn't afford it. They don't have the budget for that. This industry doesn't make enough. It makes money, but it's not like making that sort of budget. They wouldn't be affordable to you. They wouldn't be affordable to you. They actually had to undergo real safety testing. You would be paying, $200 for a bottle of multivitamins. Okay? Because that's what it would cost to offset all that testing, and that stuff would be in testing for years usually. Like most pharmaceuticals are, unless they get pushed through for specific political reasons. Okay. So the rule they give them, if you know it's dangerous and we find out that you knew it was dangerous, we're going to pull it and we're going to fine you. But as long as you don't have direct knowledge, and that's where they check for insider stuff, that's where insiders can whistleblow on the company and be like, really, the CEO and the board knew that this causes butt cancer, but they buried it and just went ahead and sold it anyways. Well, if that gets reported and then the FDA gets a hold of those notes, they'll fine those people and they'll have a problem. Because that's the rule. They knew it was potentially dangerous and they chose to sell it. But if it causes those things and there was no evidence, they had no reason to know, and there's no evidence that they knew, they're in the clear. They're not required. Okay? It's buyer beware. Because these products have not been investigated and cleared by the FDA, and they're legally protected there. Unless you find out that they knew and swept it under the rug and sold it to you, so then they have no interest. It's in the best interest of those companies to not investigate and not find out. Because if they don't know, they don't get in trouble. Well, we didn't know it causes butt cancer. We had no idea. That covers them. Because they're not required to produce safe products legally. They're not required to test them. So when you start buying supplements that your favorite influencer is telling you, oh yeah, buy this, it's great. He doesn't know if it's safe. You don't know if it's safe. It's buyer beware. That is how the supplement industry works legally. Buyer beware. At least in America, I don't know what the rules are in other countries. You probably don't either. A lot of people say, well, I bet yours different than mine. You don't know that it is. You better investigate. So keep that in mind every time you hear about this new miracle magical supplement that, number one, if it works, it's probably going to be illegal. Number two, that's possibly replicating a drug-like effect. Well, then it's going to have drug-like side effects. And then it's going to be illegal, so you better not become dependent on it. It will eventually get outlawed. That's always what happens. Right? Or it's been adulterated or spiked with something. The industry's been caught doing that many times. But you don't know that it's safe. Always keep that in mind. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.